The criminal justice system in Norway, how the Norwegians deal with their prisoners and with their criminals, is very extraordinary and very strange for most people around the globe. So when we think of a prison, a standard prison that you see in the movies, you usually think of people being locked away behind bars where they can enjoy some time outside maybe, but it's not exactly a great existence. Now, I want to show you some photos of one of the most famous prisons in the world, Bastøy Prison in Norway, that are quite different from the standard prison. Here's a guy enjoying a ride on a bike. Here's just some people relaxing, drinking coffee with the guards, sunbathing, why not? This prison, in so many ways, it doesn't really look like a prison at all. Now, why are criminologists, the people who study crime in prisons for a living, why are criminologists so interested in this particular prison? Why do scientists from around the world travel to Norway to study Bastøy Prison? What's so extraordinary about it? It turns out that Bastøy Prison has the lowest recidivism rate in the whole world. So this is, if we just purely look at the evidence we have in front of us, if we just look at the hard and cold statistics, this is the most effective prison out there. These kind of prisons, this whole Norwegian criminal justice system is based on a different view of what humans are really like. It's based on a much more optimistic, much more hopeful view that even people who have done terrible things, they're not monsters. They can still be reformed, they can still be changed. But if you want to do that, you have to approach them with humanity and with kindness and compassion. So actually the warden of the prison in Norway, Bastøy Prison, his name is Tom Eberhard, and he famously said, treat people like dirt and they'll behave like dirt. Treat people like human beings and they'll behave like human beings. So again, you see this self-fulfilling prophecy at play. Now, some people may say, look, Norway is a very rich country, it's one of the richest countries in the world. It's just unaffordable, right? You can't, do that in other places. Surely you can't scale that up suddenly. Surely you can't import it from Norway. But the interesting finding is actually that these kind of prisons save money. Because let's be honest, crime, and in particular recidivism, someone committing another crime once he or she gets out of prison, is very expensive. And that's what most prisons around the world are really like. So if you look at American prisons, for example, you could call them universities for more crime. People go in there for relatively small drug offenses, and they come out as hardened criminals because they were in such a horrible environment for years and years. We are basically, having these tax-funded systems to educate prisoners for more crime, which seems very weird. Now, the Norwegians do the opposite, and there have been some study of economists looking what are the benefits here. And if you add it all up, if you look at, the additional income, in terms of taxes, of people actually finding a job after they get out of prison, you name it, it turns out that these institutions actually pay for themselves. So it's not merely more compassionate, it's also financially more rational to treat people with kindness and compassion. Now, I must acknowledge, this is not easy. This is actually very, very hard. So you may remember the horrific terrorism attack in 2011 by a terrorist named Anders Breivik, who murdered so many young people on an island called Utøya in Norway. And it's very understandable when people want vengeance at a moment like that, when they're like, this man killed my daughter, my son, you know, surely we can't put him in a prison like that. But what is so astonishing, and I look at it with humility and respect. If you listen to interviews with many of the parents, they say, look, I don't want to sink to that level, right? I want to be the real civilized person here. And that's actually what they've managed to do there.